Rock and roll.
Hey everyone, David C. Anderson from the KnifeCenter coming at you from SHOT Show 2024. We're here at the case booth with our good friend Maury Ford. How are you,
David.
sir?
I'm great. How are you, sir?
Doing good. Always good to see you.
Always good to be seen, especially at SHOT Show, right?
Especially at SHOT Show.
A lot of fun stuff going on. So much in the knife community. I know you probably had a ball. You're all in.
I'll remember what we saw when we get back and I have time to think about it. We're moving so fast.
Glad you got video recording, right?
Exactly.
Like, I'll go back to watch your own videos.
Exactly.
So you're like, oh, that's right, that's right. So
exactly.
It is great. There's always so much new stuff, so much excitement for the industry. At Case, we're celebrating our 135th anniversary this year. So not only are this American company still making knives in America, but it's a big milestone for us. So we're gonna try to step it up in this year, and hopefully everybody will like what we got.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, we've got some new stuff here.
Yes, sir.
And you hinted that 135-year heritage, and obviously, like the classic pocket knife is your bread and butter.
Right.
That's what you're known for.
Right.
But you've recently stepped out, obviously, and started doing like the more modern flippers,
Yes.
the frame locks, and have had some success with that.
Right.
The new stuff here, I think, really bridges those two worlds in a pretty interesting way.
Right.
Tell us about these
So
knives.
we do too, and it's interesting you use the word bridge because this is our Bridgeline.
I didn't even think about that.
So that's perfect. Perfect teeing that up.
It's almost like you planned.
Yeah, I know, right? But you're right, David. So, in 2021, we launched the Marilla and the Kenzie. We launched that at Blade Show. It was the American-made knife of the year. A lot of interest in that, right? A lot of our core audience was like, man, that's a big step for Case. And as we introduce this, and we've got two versions, right? We're going to have this one is called the High Banks, and it is just going to be a detent folder, right? It has a traditional flare. I call it modern traditional. I don't even know if that's a category. A lot of them would just call it, just a modern slip joint. So this one's going to have just a detent folder. It doesn't have a back spring. We use CPM 20 on the steel.
Okay.
This is going to have the little cutout for the nail nick. It's got a deep carry pocket clip. It's going to come in OD green micarta. We've got a black burlap micarta, and we've got a rosewood to kind of get in that little more of that tradition.
Sure.
On the High Banks, you're going to see we're either going to have a fluting on the bolster as well, and really tried to look at how do we make this a Case knife with some Case DNA, but kind of get into that more modern thing. And I hope people think we did. I love it. I've been carrying one through the show, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Nice. So the 20 CV, obviously, that's a big step up in edge retention versus classic slip joints versus the
You
true
taught me
sharp
that if
stainless.
you remember at Blade Show. I'm like, David, what's S35? 20 CV. You're like, one's blade retention, one's toughness. I think that's what I keep going by.
That's the big if you're comparing those two, that's going to be the split there.
Right.
But that's going to give you a ton of edge retention in a non-locking format like this.
Right.
And let's see, can you do the flick closed? I haven't tried it yet, so.
I don't know. I
not
didn't even know there was a thing.
No.
That half stop in there, I don't know if that may be
That's what it is, because actually most detent joints like this don't have that half stop.
Right.
So that's kind of another way to kind of carry that classic slip joint DNA into this. So that's what's happening. You're exactly right.
Okay.
If that weren't there, you could kind of flip
it over.
But that is neat. And the advantage, of course, is that that's extra safety.
Yes.
So if it moves, you got a spot where it might stop before it comes down on you. Love the cutting geometry on that blade too. Full flat, nice and thin.
Yes.
Very nice.
Well, good. I'm glad you approve. I know. I know we often look to you for some advice and some of the things that you may have a hand in there somewhere, right? When you're like, hey, David, what do you think? You're like, oh, don't do this or.
Well, this looks pretty good.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Well, good.
This looks pretty good.
So we did another one that is very similar. So that's the High Banks. And then we did another one very similar, and we call it the Longhouse. So it's almost, a lot of these were kind of modeled sort of after our Barlow a little bit when we were first starting.
Sure. Yeah.
Again, we wanted like a traditional blade style. And in this one, what we wanted to do was look at, okay, what's another modern feature we could add to this? So we added a front flipper. So this knife, it's not it's not just your traditional flipper. I'm learning this stuff. You've already known this stuff, but the front flipper is great. It's got the liner lock, so you've got the liner lock. Again, this is going to come in the OD green micarta. Yeah, the black burlap.
So we've got those other options right here just to kind of show off how they're going to look. Yeah.
The black burlap and then the rosewood. Again, I don't know. I always thought tradition, but this black burlap to me is probably the one, and the OD green.
I'm a big fan of burlap in general.
Oh, it looks so good. So
this almost has. I get my terminology wrong. It almost has like that sleeve board look.
Yes.
To the handle, really showing off
Right.
that material.
Yes.
Yeah. And you guys did a front flipper or top flipper, whatever you want to call it, right? Because I can actually use it.
Okay.
I sometimes struggle with those. That's
Right.
that's kind of my old school,
Right.
reflexes
Yes.
kicking in and
Yeah.
interfering with things. But this, as you can see, works
really well,
excellent.
right?
Yeah. And you've got the locking convenience. Nice neutral handles on all of them too,
Yes.
and they're going to be very easy for any hand size to carry, and not super thin. Like you've got something that
Right.
you could push on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got It's got a little bit of meat to it, right? Not too much, hopefully, but I think it's a really good size. And like I said, we've seen a lot here. We've talked to a lot of people, and I think the response has all been overwhelmingly positive. So that is good.
What's neat kind of too is this. You've got the closed back construction here,
Yes.
which kind of carries in the design cue of a classic slip
Yeah.
joint too.
Yeah.
But while being a modern line lock.
And we do, like you said, the bridge is really intended to be that. We wanted to bring some more case DNA into it. We're going to continue to look at things like that. You'll see it as we get a little further down the line. We're still going to update, and the Marilla and the Kinzu and the Westline, those are still fantastic sellers for us. They're doing well.
Good.
But as we expand and bridge that gap, we're going to see this Bridgeline product. So-
Exploring more stuff in kind
Yeah.
of that cross section.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. And I always tell folks, if you're a case loyalist out there, we're still traditional.
Yeah.
So we want to have that slip joint. We want to be that traditional bone handle and things like that. But we also have
There's
technology
no reason
and
you can't do other stuff too.
artisans that
Yeah.
can do sort of thing. So much in our engineering is fantastic. So they're having a ball with some of this stuff too, right?
Nice.
This is it uses equipment and things that we haven't had before. So it's
Good
a lot of
stuff.
fun for us. So
Good stuff.
so
Well, it's a great little size. Like I said, it feels good in the hand. You're like a little bit over 3 inches on the blade
Yes.
length on there.
Yes.
Just a nice little Goldilocks size.
So I always tell folks, this is what I tell them, our folks in the booth. So if you kind of get the half stop is the high banks, and the Longhouse is the front flipper. So H for half stop, H for high banks, because somebody's looking, I don't know which one of those I like. If you like the front flipper, it's the Longhouse. If you like the half stop, it's gonna be the high banks. And those tie into things within the community in the McKean County in Pennsylvania where these are made. So all the names on those are really unique in that it means something. It's not just clever names and marketing terms.
Right.
It actually reflects back to something in that community.
And that pulls in the heritage.
The heritage,
thing.
yeah. Yes.
Like you guys will never lose that.
Right.
Like that's part of your DNA. So that's
And
cool.
we always want to be mindful of that too. So
Yeah.
that I think that's going to help a bunch too.
Good,
So,
good.
so that's fantastic.
Well, speaking of the Marilla,
Yes.
we have a new version right here.
Right. So the anodized aluminum. One of the things early on, we put that G10 liner or spacer in there. I'm sorry,
inlay?
inlay.
Yeah.
So we wanted a walnut. So we wanted other woods. Like, is there wood? Is there bone options and things like that? So kind of the first entry to that is going to be a walnut. And I think against that black anodized with the black hardware in that, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, I mean the dark parts of the grain are so striking in this combination. It pulls that
Yes.
almost black color
Right.
into the
Yeah, I
wood
think you
itself.
said, is that snake wood? And
At first I did. I thought it looks almost like a good piece of snake
Right,
wood.
but it's very rich, right? It looks
Yeah.
very rich, and that walnut looks really good. One of the things I will point out, because I know in some of our earlier videos, and a lot of the folks said in our deep carry pocket clips, one of the things we have fixed is what do you call it? The proud screws.
Yeah.
So you'll see that in all of our new products that the screws are going to be more tapered in there. They're not going to
Little
stick
bit
out as much.
lower profile.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Right on.
So that will be good.
We got a new fixed blade here, which actually offers kind of a similar profile
Yes.
to the Marilla.
The
here.
Marilla, it does.
Are these,
And,
are these
other than-
actual related products?
They're
or-
really not. So other than you just putting them right there, I don't know that I've ever made that correlation exactly.
Yeah,
but
even there in like the index
Yeah.
finger area.
yeah, very similar. So
Interesting.
we partnered with Chris Taylor. Chris Taylor is a designer. He's from Arkansas. He's very well known in a lot of circles. So we worked with him and we did a lot of consumer research, and some of that was done with our own factory folks, right? These guys that go out and they hunt and they're outdoorsmen, or these ladies, and we're like, hey, what do you think of this? Is this got the right fit and finish? Is this going to work for you? So we did 3 versions. We call them the CT1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
This one is actually CT2, but it's
Okay.
This is going to have S35 steel. It's got the carbon fiber handles. It's going to have a leather belt sheath, right? So
Similar. Is this the right one, or is it similar
yeah,
style?
similar. Yeah, I think it is the right one, but
We're gonna
just
find
in
out
case.
together.
Yeah, that's right. It may go right through
There
the
you
middle.
go.
Yeah.
Yep, nope,
Yeah, this is
perfect.
all live, right? So you never know. So, but yeah, so it's going to
nice
be.
thick welt along there.
Yes.
Nice.
And we looked at
stitching.
other things, should it have a Kydex sheath and things like that, but we just felt like, again, these are more traditional fixed blades, even though they're using modern steels and things like that. So we thought a good American-made leather sheath would be a good option for
Sure,
that. So
absolutely.
hopefully folks will agree.
So that's the number 2.
That's the number 2.
Yep.
And you're going to see that lanyard. See where the
Yep.
buried lanyard in there? That's a really neat feature, I think. And again, a lot of this stuff I'm learning as we go, but I'm like, I like that. So then it's not a hole in there, but you still have the lanyard.
Keeps it nice and clean, but you still have the option.
Yes.
Yeah. I like how kind of low profile and almost invisible these pins are as well. Very nice.
So the CT1 is that's the canvas burlap micarta OD green, and that's going to be a nitro V blade. So again, we're using some of this modern steel. We've now done some CPM 20. We're doing S35 nitro V. With a lot of jimping on that, right at the top.
I like the trailing point going on here too. That's, Hunter all the way for sure.
Yes. I think of those 3. I don't know why this one always speaks. I think it's a handle. Maybe it's a handle. I don't know, but I really like that. I really like that micarta handle.
Yeah, it feels good. It's kind of on the flatter side, but it nestles in quite nicely.
Yes.
I like the bevel here at the front, so you can get up there real easily and do that sort of thing.
Yes.
Very nice.
So that's
getting out like that, perhaps.
That's another exciting way. And we've seen an increase in our fixed blades. Case fixed blades have always been popular, usually the stack leather washers and those sort of things, which are traditional. We still have them. We're going to keep making them, but this is a great market for us. We do a lot in the outdoor space and sporting goods and just hunting and outdoors all the way around. So I think it's going to do well.
Very nice. And then the number 3.
And then our CT3. And this is just going to be the Skinner, right? It's got orange G10 handles, it's got the black anodized hardware, and that's 1095, powder coated 1095.
Classic.
So we're going to, again, hopefully it's just that workhorse, right? Maybe that's the knife you take out and do all your deer hunting and whatever hunting or skinning or camping, whatever that may be. So the nice bright orange handle, you're not going to lose it, but it's another one. I think it's good. And that's going to be obviously a more value price point driven. So, we're working through a lot of this premium steels and different things like that. So, hopefully good stuff, right? The screwed on handles there.
They look good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so you've got the actual Torx buttons on the back side.
Yeah, on the back side, right? To kind of keep it clean on the front.
Yep.
But yes.
Excellent. All right. Well, speaking of the traditionals, you notice half the table here is classic.
Right. And we started with the modern, which is good, right?
That's how we trick you guys into looking.
I know.
Some of the younger folks out there.
You got to watch through this, right?
Draw you in.
You got to watch
stuff
through
is
this.
cool too.
So the thing every year, David, people call us, about October, November, like, what's your vault pattern going to be? What's your vault pattern going to be? And we'll, you got to wait.
Right.
So at the SHOT Show on Tuesday, we launched the vault pattern for 2024, and it is, for those that are familiar with case pattern numbers, it's the 005 Razor. So it's kind of like a medium Barlow if you look at the profile of that.
Sure.
But it's got this unique razor blade, and this is something that historically Case is very well known for. We were the last domestic user of the straight razor, manufacturer of the straight razor.
Yep.
And you got this really unique. So this is an unhoned edge, but a lot of folks would call this a one-armed man's knife, because if after a lot of the wars, a lot of folks lost appendages and stuff, and this can hook on the bottom of your shoe. So maybe it was the original one-hand opening. I don't know. We can call it that, but it does. It's so that it's non-honed. You can hook it. It opens up very easily. We have this in a 2-bladed version, and the second blade will be that pen knife. But really nice. It's got kind of an elongated bolster, like a Barlow a little bit.
But you have the bolster on the other end as well.
Yep.
So for those of you who don't know the vault pattern, each year you bring one pattern back that you're currently not making.
Yes.
You do a bunch of different versions of it for 1 year only.
Yes.
And
we'll make it
on to the next
just in a year, and then we put it back in the vault. Not say it won't ever come back out, because we'll talk about that in a minute with the Barlow, because we are going to put that back in production. But this is going to go away. So there are 14 different versions in the catalog to start out with. So we make quite a few of them, but we only make it for a year. And then we'll sprinkle some in our summer and spring supplements and fall and holiday and things like that. But yeah, this is going to be great. A lot of folks wanted a little bit bigger knife for the vault. We did the small Congress. We've had a few small ones in a row. So this is going to be, I think it's going to be great. Bone stag, one of my favorite handles, hands down.
Indeed.
If you can't get real stag, bone stag is really, really close. It's a good, acceptable alternative. We're not trying to trick it, but we love that rich look. We're going to have it in bone stag, I think in here too. We've got it in the white sparks. We talked about that, just that kind of jumps right out at you. We're also going to have it in single blade. So this is the rough black in a single blade. And originally we were designing, I said, I think everybody will want the 2-blade, but you get that in your hand and it just feels...
It's got a slim, feeling, like feels at home.
Yes, absolutely. So I said, and I've even had some customers say, man, I think I want more of those single-bladed knives. So I'm like, I agree. But so it's going to do well in both areas, right? But it is 2024, 1-year production. We'll put it back in the vault.
Yep.
So hopefully...
Got that nice half stop on there.
Yes.
Now, are they going to be all in the stainless steel, or are you going to do any carbon versions?
Right now they're all going to be stainless, but we will do some carbon, right?
Very cool.
That'll be something that's coming out. Probably in our summer supplement, we'll do some carbon, and it'll all be in our traditional True Sharp surgical stainless steel. And this goes back. It's been at least 20 years since Case made one of the razor patterns. So you're getting something that's very nostalgic. This pattern, this style of blade has been around since the late 1800s and early 1900s. So it goes, people really shaved with this. Somebody asked me, well, is it sharp enough to shave? I'm like, but I wouldn't recommend it.
I would say that's up to you, buddy. That's
right.
How sharp can you make it?
That's right. But also, obviously it's called a razor. It's not, you could shave with it, but that's not my recommendation, right? So we'll see.
I do that as little as possible.
Yeah, that's right. So some of the other stuff we'll see when we look at our new products, and that's a question we always want to answer in Case, like what's new. If they want to know from spring to summer to fall, always. So we've really challenged our engineering team and our innovations team to make sure that we had a lot of new product for the Case avid consumer. And this is where we kind of reinforce that we are not getting away from slip joints, right? We want to hold on to that stronghold we have in there and do the things that we do best. Not to mention we can't do some other stuff, but some of that we've got several new handles, and we talked about this one. So this is a smooth yellow bone, and it has the black Case trademark shield in it.
I'm loving that color.
But you see it across the room, you see it across the show. So if you want that knife that's going to stand out in your pocket or a collection, or when you're using it, and everybody's going to say, "What is that over there?" This yellow.
You did it to me last year.
I know,
too,
with the lime green,
with that candy apple green or whatever it was,
Yes.
and then the same thing this year from across the booth. It's like, I want to know about
So
that.
I will say, because of the success of the lime green and that candy apple type lime, we had that in the spring supplement, and it was gone. Man, everybody loved it. So we did this yellow in the core. So this will be available all year. We're not limited to just one run of it. We're going to keep it going.
Nice.
So if the response is great, there are going to be 7 knives in this family. So all your core favorite patterns, and then there'll be a few sprinkled in there. So this will be available, and it'll be available in February. So
Very good.
Get them on your website. I know you guys will sell them, and hopefully you sell a bunch of them. Right?
Excellent.
Yeah. All right, so next, we use a lot of wood, and wood does very well for us. So this is a black curly maple. We're doing that in about 7 or 8 patterns as well. We've got the brass shield and the brass pins, so it really kind of accents that. But those beautiful wooden handles, you're going to find that in a lot of the favorites, including, that's a trapper, of course, the rust lock. You're going to see that in a bunch of different things.
Very nice. Looks good.
Yeah, I think, again, when you're looking just back and forth, you're looking at the bone, the synthetics. We're going to do some other things there. And again, this is core catalogs. It's going to be available all year.
Nice.
Much like our brown maple burl that we've been doing, it's going to run, and it does really, really good for us. So I know this is going to do as well. One of the other things, we do a lot of natural bone, and we do natural bone in promo families, and we embellish it. But we don't do a lot of just clean, this is just straight natural bone.
Like undyed. And,
right. Let's just kind of accent what this material is, right?
Yeah,
so we did that, and this is just going to be a natural bone family, stainless steel version. It's going to have the 2 X's in the shield, so instead of the Case Longtail C, you just got the trademark double X. So, kind of a little subtle thing there, but I think it's going to be great. It's also good if you did want to buy a knife and take it down to your local jeweler and maybe have it embellished or do some stuff.
Scrimshaw type of stuff or something.
You can practice yourself, right? Yeah. Don't resell them, because then it gets into a big deal. But if you want to customize your own knife, it's going to be a good one to do it on. So you're going to see that in the core product family. We have a seafoam green. This is just a G10. It kind of looks Tiffany blue.
I would say it's almost got that Tiffany look.
I don't know where they get seafoam green. It may be a trademark issue to say anything different, but it's a beautiful one, and that has the Ixus fish shield. And you know, a lot of that we say any case knife, it's kind of a reflection of you. Maybe it's your passion, maybe it's your beliefs, maybe it's, you know, just somebody gave that to you on a special occasion, whatever it may be. And this kind of really accents that with that Christian fish symbol and that shield in there. So this will be the Ixus family for 2024.
Nice.
And that one, the one you have there, we brought that small lock back at the end of last year. So it's going to go in the family. So you're going to see that in a lot of new things. So the little 225 lock is what we call it. And it'll be available in this. A lot of these will be more gentleman style knives. I know a lot of the ladies this really appeals to, both the color and, you know, the symbol and just different things. And the lockback's a great knife to fit in a purse or a small pocketbook as well. But it's also, in my mind, one of the perfect size if you're opening boxes or things like
I mean,
that.
if you're not doing big work,
right,
a blade that big is going to get
it's going to get it done, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yep, that's good. And then last for our product families that are going to be introduced into the catalog this year, this is our Sportsman series, and it's kind of making a rebirth. We did this several years ago. Yeah, you got the big picture behind us. You're going to have 5 scenes on that. We're going to have the deer, the turkey, the elk, the bear, and just the duck hunter. And that's going to each one has a shield that's fitting for that hunting, right?
Gotcha. Yep.
And whether it's a bullet or whether it's a shotgun shell, you know, you don't hunt turkeys, or you don't hunt, well, turkeys either. Turkeys or ducks with a rifle.
Right.
So it's got a shotgun shell in it. But, you know, this is great for that sportsman. Not unlike the Ixus, man, if you're the outdoorsman and this is what resonates with you, then I want the Sportsman series. And we're going to have all of those available. They'll come in a little collectible gift tin. You know, all of our knives are meant to be carried. They're meant to be gifted. They're meant to be shared. Hopefully they're used, you know, and they will hold up because they all have lifetime warranty. All case knives do, as you know. All made in Pennsylvania, so it's really good. But
good stuff.
Yeah, the Sportsman series, we're going to have other things, David, with spring supplements. We got some zebra wood in there that you'll be seeing on your website very soon.
Excellent.
Some harvest orange, bone handles. We're doing some rough white stuff that's going to be really nice. So
looking forward to
excited about the offerings. All of the product families too in our catalog. If you love pocket worn old red or you love the navy blue, there's probably going to be an addition to some of that stuff. So I encourage anybody that loves and follows the Case brand to look at those families, look at the new stuff, because there's going to be some new stuff all scattered throughout it. The last one on the table, if someone's looking, so this is the large size copper lock. And we put this on here because this is coming back into the line again. Like that small lock back, the large copper lock was part of our COVID adjustment so that we could increase production on certain items and keep our core in. There were patterns that we had to take a pause on. The large copper lock, the sow belly, the 225 lock, those are all coming back into the line this year. But we were talking about this one before we started. It's got the Warncliffe. Right.
I don't remember ever seeing it in a Warncliffe before. You said it's been done.
It's been done, but not very often.
I'm so used to seeing that big dramatic clip point on there.
Right.
Yeah.
With the swedging and all, the long nail pull and everything else. But yeah, this one, we did the long nail pull on this, but it does have that Warncliffe blade.
Yeah.
The copper lock's a great size. It was, almost one of the rebirth patterns of Case after Zippo bought Case 30 years ago. So one of the first things that we did, we invested in that. And the copper lock this is that transition between the trapper and our copper head.
Right.
So it became an immediate success. And the mini copper lock has spawned off of that.
Well, I told you, my first Case knife was actually a
mini copper lock.
Yeah.
And it's one of the best carry knives, everyday carry, I think, that there is out there. A true everyday carry, not the modern stuff, right? But this has got the double X's in the shield. This is a blue G10 as well. So it's going to be in the line. The blue G10 is not new, but this is a new addition to it. And you're going to have that copper lock back. Like I said, we're going to have the sow belly, that 3-bladed Tony Bowes design sow belly is coming back into the line. Not a vault pattern.
It's got such great lines.
So it is fantastic. It is. All these things, I think I said before, reminds me, Tony used to always say, isn't that sexy? You see that, you see those lines, whether it's a sow belly or this Warncliffe, because that does look really, really good.
It looks good. Well, what I really like too about this blade shape on this knife is it's a bit bigger than other iterations of this
Right.
blade shape that we see in the case lineup. Usually they're
Right.
a little bit smaller than this. So you still get the same kind of like precision that those blades offer, but you've got a bit more like aggressive cutting power
Right.
in this at the size. And I like it. I think it's cool.
Yep. It really is. So that has done well for us, and I think, as we talked about, just an iconic pattern, but it's going to be great. I think it's
Yeah.
going to be a good one, a good addition.
Excellent.
For sure.
Very good. Well, that's all we've got to show you right now, but as you mentioned, there is a ton of stuff coming, especially on the traditional side of things.
Absolutely.
All kinds of new materials to look forward to on new and returning favorites for you to enjoy. So keep an eye out on our case page and on our new items page on the KnifeCenter website. You'll be able to see that stuff as soon as they go live. That's where you can find them. Maury, thanks so much, man.
David, thank you, man. We appreciate what you guys are doing. Thanks for promoting the Case brand.
Absolutely.
We're going to have a lot of good stuff this year. So hopefully everybody that's following along and listening, we're going to get to see it on. Hopefully you guys, you and Seth, will be able to showcase a lot of the new stuff that we've got.
For sure, man.
It's the 135th year, so we're going to be having a lot of specialty stuff.
We should have some fun with it.
We should, absolutely. We plan to. We plan to.
Excellent.
But I
Good
appreciate
stuff.
everything that you guys do and everything you bring to the industry too. So
Thank you.
all
Appreciate
right,
it.
man.
Good stuff, guys. Again, check out the links in the description and make sure to check out the rest of our SHOT Show coverage.